So, lesson number 5 of the basic blues course. We are now going to get into the nitty gritty. We've learnt the 12-bar blues chord progression. We've learnt our minor blues scale, which we're going to use for improvisation. But this is where people can get really stuck, because it's all very well and good knowing how to play a scale up and down. It's very difficult to use the notes of that scale just to improvise and make up something fantastic. This takes practice. So this is something that you're going to need to do over time. Some of you will just nail it, I have no doubt. But listen to the difference. This is going up and down the minor blues scale. Okay, that's going up and down, and I've just moved from a C to an F. Listen now when I can improvise. All of a sudden it sounds like a song instead of just a scale. This is what we need to practice. I'm going to show you how to do it in this lesson, so let's get stuck right in. So to improvise with the minor blues scale is super simple because we can do whatever we want. So we can't really go wrong here. You can just hit the notes of the minor blues scale in any order you like. And the key to this is, number one, knowing this blues scale very well. So hopefully you've done all of your exercises in the previous lessons and you know this scale. And number two, it's about not going too fast. Okay, so the really good thing about improvisation is we can do whatever we like, but people tend to go over the top to start with. So and they always end up doing the scale up and down. And we don't want that in improvisation. That's boring to the listener if we're just going up and down and up and down. We need to experiment and make it interesting and do something different with these notes. So number 3 is play the notes of the scale in any order. To improvise means to create or perform without preparation. So this is what you need to practice doing. Pick these notes, play them in a different order. You can use the scale, but don't just do the same thing every time. We need to find some little phrases within this scale, and you'll find your own that you like. So it might be that you always start by going up the blues scale, but you stop on the B. And then it might be, you know, that you like to then do a little bit here between the E and the G flat, E flat. That might be your thing. You might come up. That might be what you do. That's improvisation. And you will find that there's certain things that you always come to. One of mine is this. I love that. I'm just going up and down between the G flat and the C. And this is quite a common thing to do on blues. Going up and down between just 2 or 3 notes. Sounds quite good, it sounds quite cool, but you will come across your own things that you like. And if it sounds terrible to start with, just go back to your scale. And when you're practicing, just try different things. So just like I did, pick a note to start on. Say, okay, I'm going to start on the G flat. And then pick another note to go. Just do the black notes. And then throw in a white note. And slower can sometimes be more. So if you're stuck here, then just hold it for a minute. The left hand is still going to be going through this chord progression. Now the next thing you can try, number 6, is to switch between playing in a straight style and playing in a swung style. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. And 4 and Now you don't have to do this. When I'm improvising the blues, I do tend to just swing it because that's what I like the sound of. But you can do whatever you like. So if you want to switch between the two, you can. Now later on in the lessons, I will be taking you through how to play triplets. And when you're really getting into the improvisation of the blues, moving between eighth notes and triplets is really where it starts to get fun. But that's a bit later. For now, just experiment and see what you like the sound of. And remember, if at any point you get completely lost, this is called improvisation. You don't have to be going crazy. So if you're not sure what to do, just stay on the note you're on and just keep hitting it over and over until you get your mojo back and you can move on. So number 8 is the use of dynamics. So earlier on when we were doing the scales and I said when you hit the beat, make it louder. Do this when you're improvising. And just experiment. This is key. And you can do this over the 12 bar progression. So if I give you an idea of what you could do. Yeah, I'm just making up which notes I'm hitting, and it does not matter in what order or where I land, because we're going to learn some licks later, and these are things you can throw in, which will be like little phrases that you have in your back pocket, like a toolbox that you can throw in to make it sound really great. And these are actually learned phrases that we call licks. But you need to be able to just know this scale so well that you can just hit any of the notes. That's what I want you to practice, going up and down this scale, but not in the same order. So go up, come down, go up again, come down, stop, go up, stop, stay there maybe. Do some triplets, do some eighth notes, stay on just one note. You know, it doesn't matter what you do here, it's all experimentation and it's all just what you like the sound of. And eventually with repetition, your fingers are just going to know where to go. Because eventually you're going to have played this scale so much that they just naturally... That's where you're going to come to. And you want to use the whole piano. So don't just stay at this octave. And you might not be that quick, you might be really slow to start with because it takes time, and that is also okay. Imagine a really slow blues. See, that was pretty slow, and that's something you can do as long as you know the notes. And start with the scale.
if that just gets you into it, then that's where you should start. So go up and down. But for the next chord, stop. Just hit one note. And then you can carry on from there. You don't have to do it fast. You just have to make sure you're hitting the notes of the scale in any order. Use all of the keyboard and try and move up and down in smaller areas as you go. Okay, and if you're getting in a muddle, just slow it right down. So I want you to practice this, and actually I'm going to keep the beats per minute a bit faster for this. We're going to do 90 beats per minute because it actually doesn't matter what you do in the right. You can stay on one note for a whole 4 bars should you wish. So I think this is more fun to do with a bit of speed. I'll show you what 90 beats per minute sounds like. Okay, so I will put an 80 beats per minute in as well. Go between 80 and 90 beats per minute, depending on what you like to play to. If you don't want to do it to the beat, just practice on your own. And if you get really good at this, you could even start doing the left hand. Because it's pretty simple to do when you're improvising. You can play the C and just hold it there while you do something with your right hand. And then when you're ready, move to the F. Move to the C when you're ready. To that G. To the F. Back to the C. So you can do whatever you want. You don't even have to follow the 12 part. You could just play your C's, play your G's, play your F's, and have a little bit of an experimentation with your right. The world is your oyster here. Have fun with this. This is the best thing about the blues. You can use a pedal should you wish. Just remember to raise it if you're changing chords, but have fun. You are going to love practicing with this, and please do not worry if it sounds terrible to start with. The key to this is not going too fast. Your problem will be is if you're trying to improvise, to be fair, that still sounds good. It's the blues, everything sounds good. But instead of just hitting the notes, try and slow it down. You're going up and down in any order. And in the exercises, I'm going to give you some that will help you with this as well. If at any point you don't know what to do, you can just stay on the same note.
fine, it's blues, you can do what you want. And when you get your mojo back, you can move on. And you can just go up and down the scale again, should you get really lost. Practice will make perfect with this, okay? It's in your own ear. When you're playing improvising at the piano, it's all about what you like the sound of. So if you're playing something that doesn't sound very good, slow it down and just go up and down the scale again. And then you can use some of the exercises that I've given you to help you move up in a slightly different way. And eventually, over time, you're just going to start to think, oh, okay, that sounds good. I'm going to do that again. And that's fine. And I'd really recommend listening to blues players as well. The more you listen to the blues, the better you'll become at playing it. So make sure you do all of them exercises. There's some really good ones in there that are going to help you get your fingers moving with this as well. And I'll see you in the next lesson where we are learning some licks at the piano. You are going to love learning blues licks. So I'll see you there.